Hey guys, in this video we're closing out Yuzu week with Gentleman's Nod Kanpai, coming right up. Hello and welcome to the Lather Hog channel, where we talk about all things wet shaving. I'm your host John, and today is the last shave of Yuzu week. For part 3 of 3, the soap I'll be using is Gentleman's Nod Kanpai. And let me show you what else we're going to use in the shave today. First up for my razor, we're going to go with the carved Christopher Bradley, the plate C. That's really the only plate I have, the only one I use and that I enjoy. And that's loaded up with a Gillette Silver Blue Blade. And lastly for my brush, it's a new addition to the den, and that is an Omega EVO Special Veteran. And it's called Special Veteran, I believe, because of the color in the handle here. It's supposed to be military-esque. But either way, I was making a purchase at West Coast Shaving, and I saw this handle was in stock. I had borrowed an EVO prior from my buddy Ross. That brush from Ross had kind of like a faux stone handle thing going on. It is relatively light. Anyway, this one has a nice weight, but this is actually my first go with it. So we'll be breaking that in, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's a nice synthetic knot with a very good backbone and density as well. So you can kind of see right there. So the soap for today, Kanpai, has no matching splash, so we'll be dipping back to a previous shave and feature the Okuma splash. Alright, so here we go with a 30-second load, and into the face lather. Now the scent on this is really, really nice. Of the 3 Yuzu soaps that I'm using this week, Kanpai probably is my favorite of the 3. It's really robust in scent strength. Maybe a 7 out of 10. And it does a really nice job representing a really naturalistic yuzu. Kanpai itself means cheers in Japanese, and it was inspired by a Japanese cocktail. Just some other quick facts. It was a limited release. I believe it was used to mark their 1-year anniversary. And this one's featured in their Cardinal soap base, which is a tallow base. If you're familiar with the recent Zara Hoff signature release that Gentleman's Nod helped put out, that's also featured in the Cardinal base. However, it has been tweaked slightly between Kanpai and Signature. Just sniffing the tub again. Just a really, really nice scent. The main notes in this one are gin, yuzu, and anise, or anise. I never know which way to say that. And something that I didn't pick up on in my previous uses was kind of the boozy note, which is coming from the gin. Gin is usually characterized by juniper berries, but having used yuzu for the last few shaves, I can recognize that booziness a little bit better this time. I really do think that yuzu is a complex citrus where it's sweetness, bitterness, earthiness. Depending how you combine them with other scents, can really play up certain characteristics. Alright, so here we go in for with the grain pass. One thing that I'm wondering if I'll notice, this is the first use of that Omega EVO brush, but I've lately been thinking that even with synthetic brushes, whether it's doing like a thorough cleaning or using it for like 2 or 3 times, I think it really helps soften certain synthetic knots. I noticed that a little bit when I initially borrowed Ross's Omega EVO, and giving that a cleaning after a few uses, it definitely felt softer than its first use. And I know that's something that's really hard to measure or provide scientific evidence for. Even the Simpson Trafalgar T3 I believe, softened up a little bit after 2 or 3 shaves. So I'm curious if anyone else out there who uses synthetic brushes on the regular, do you find that there's a slight break-in period when you get a brand new brush or brand new synthetic knot? Because obviously we know of all the different steps to break in the natural hair brushes like badger, boar. I've never used horsehair, but I assume there's something to do to break it in. And I do want to give a quick shout out to my buddy Ken at Shave326. He jumped on board recently for Yuzu Week, so I definitely appreciate the shout out. And I know there's not a whole lot of Yuzu soaps, but from the few out there, it's cool to see who else is enjoying them. Also in that same video that I'm mentioning, Ken kind of nicked his nose pretty bad with his straight razor, so I do hope that heals up real soon for you, bud. In other news, this morning we had a lovely family outing to the beach. People were distanced, properly. It was still very busy, but the beach itself that we went to was big enough so that you never felt like it was super crowded or anything. The kids had a lovely time, really, really fine, smooth sand, great for sand castles. All right, so given that Kanpai is based on a cocktail, I thought today's Yuzu facts would be appropriate to be food related. So let me share some Yuzu facts with you right now. But one of the facts that stood out to me is that it takes 10 years without any kind of modifications or anything like that. It takes about 10 years for the fruit to ripen. And that's pretty crazy. So it kind of explains why Yuzu-based things, to get them for fragrance, get them as other ingredients, it's just so expensive. I'm trying to figure out if my lather is a bit on the thin side, but as far as slickness and protection goes, I've had no problems. From memory, this one is a pretty low structure or low volume lather. Very creamy, so I'm not too concerned that even for this kind of cleanup pass that I don't have enough lather. At the same time, with new knots, whether they be synthetic or natural, the lather can be a little finicky with a new brush. But I think we'll be okay here. Fingers crossed. Since we haven't been outside a ton, I will say that both my wife and I got a bit of a sunburn. She forgot to put sunblock on her back. And then for me, got a little bit of color on my nose, on my ears, and then on like a random kind of the side of my arm on both sides. So I'll be feeling that for the next, probably 24 hours. But just having beautiful weather, getting fresh air, man, it really just put me in a good mood today. So kind of glad that's how we're wrapping up Yuzu Week on a high note. All right, so this shave seemed to have gone by real quick. Gonna finish with the splash here. Again, using Okuma from Male Grooming, sent by Talbot Shaving. All right, Alright, so that's it for the shave for today. This week was a little bit different as I kind of had a little theme. I'm curious, is that something you'd like to see more on the channel? This doesn't mean that soap and razor reviews are going away, but this is kind of just a way to do something a little different. I may chat with you guys a little bit more. If this is something that you'd like to see again, definitely let me know in the comments below. That being said, I want to thank you guys so much for your time and joining me for today's video. I hope you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you next time.